So while I was at Amemiya, I was just walking around looking at different RX-7s, and my boy comes on, and I start talking to him, and obviously over Google Translate, and I'm telling him, yo, I'm gonna buy a lot of RX-7 parts from you when I get an RX-7. And he's like, okay there, buddy. Hey guys, how's it going? Revolution Course up back with another video, and it's a new year, 2019. How's that going for you? It's not going so good for me because I'm a little sick. Anyway, so today's video is the story of how I went to Japan, a country I've wanted to visit since I was a little kid. This wasn't my first time actually going to Japan. This is my second time because your boy went in 2017. Well, now, why didn't I post any content on that? Well, I mean, I'm lazy. I'm lazy as hell. So let me get into why Japan is such a popular tourist destination and actually why I want to go to Japan. Now, Japan is famous for a lot of different things. Some of them being food. Think about it. Ramen, sushi. I personally like my instant ramen. If you're into photography, there's a lot of Japanese brands. I'm shooting this on a Nikon camera that's Japanese. Maybe you like cars. I have a Skyline GTR and a Subaru WRX. Japanese cars. Or maybe you're just a weirdo and you like anime. I don't mess with that. No, I'm joking. So you get my point here. A lot of things relate back to Japan. Maybe video games are up your alley. So growing up as a kid, I used to play a lot of video games, as you do. And I used to have this game console called the Sega Saturn. So one year my dad traveled for work and he ended up in Japan, where he got the console converted to play foreign games. And he ended up bringing back a suitcase full of games for us. Now, it was through these games that I was introduced to Japan's quirks and futures. And a couple of years later, the PlayStation came out, and Gran Turismo was a game I used to play a lot. And that's actually the first time I saw the GTR R32, which is the car that I now drive. So it was through interactions like this that actually built my intrigue for Japan. So fast forward to 2017, and I'm presented with the opportunity to go work in Japan for a month and a half. Now, obviously, you know what I said. How many car parts can I fit in my luggage? Now, visiting Japan was really a cool experience, and it really did live up to everything that I hoped for. As soon as I got off the plane, you know your boy had to test out the toilet. Let me tell you, what? Everything you've heard about the toilets is most likely true. That was crazy. The first bathroom I went to in the airport, I walk up to the thing, hit the button, slide the door, motion. These things are fully loaded, man. They're more loaded than like half these cars out here. Got heated seats, massage seats. They play sounds out them. They even lift some lift the seat up before you even walk to it. What? Now on that point, let me mention how clean the bathrooms are. It's crazy. I cannot use a public washroom like unless it's like super clean. And Japan just surpasses that standard. It's crazy. And I know I'm not alone on this one. So for those people, now the cleanliness isn't just in the bathrooms, it's actually throughout the whole country. Even in the countryside, like the farms, you expect them to be dirty, but they're like wicked clean. It's crazy. Now, Japan is a collectivist society, which means that they believe everybody should work together to take care of the land that they live on. Now, because everything is preserved so well, they have these old temples which are still standing and they look impeccable. It's crazy. Like they're from like year 800 or 400. Like what? But seriously, I would recommend going to see a temple. It's really a cool experience. Alright, so let's get into the cars. You'll see a lot of crazy cars everywhere, all across Japan now. Sylvias, Supras, Skylines, you name it. You'll see them everywhere. But the weird thing is that they just treat them like normal sports cars. It's like kind of like if you had a 911 Carrera. Like, I mean, it's technically a sports car, but I mean, you wouldn't bat like a second eye towards it, right? So yeah, like over there, like if there's like a GTR R34 passing by, like nobody's really like losing their stuff. You just see me in the corner, like. So you'll definitely spot a lot of cars, but it's not like that Tokyo Drift thing where like everybody like parks up at the garages and stuff like that. Meats are actually really looked down upon by the police, and they're kind of more of a nuisance in Japan since everything is like tight on space. So the only real places they can actually hold meetings is usually in parking areas. Now, two places which are really known for that is Daikoku Futo and Tatsumi parking area. Now, I couldn't for the life of me get to the Tatsumi parking area. And why has nobody on YouTube made a video on this? Dude, I got by getting all the way to Tokyo from Narita without paying a toll, and I have to pay it to get it to. I had to pay a toll just to get to the parking area, and I still couldn't find it. Like, what? So, like, if you're staying outside Tokyo, like in Narita, like I was, or somewhere else, I mean, getting to Yokohama or Tokyo to visit one of these parking areas, you have to either take public transportation and can't really get there by bus or train. So the only real way is taking a car. Now, even though Narita is a little farm town and it doesn't seem very interesting, they do, however, house R.E. Amemiya. Yes, that's right. Now, you may not know who R.E. Amemiya is. Well, they're a tuning shop, and they are the go-to guys for anything rotary related. They are known for their own in-house development and their own parts. And just on a regular old weekday, their garage looks like this. I mean, god damn. So how I came across them was actually their appearances on Hot Version, which is a show hosted by Keiichi Tsuchiya, known as DK, Drift King. Skirt. So this show is essentially a Motor Trend head-to-head kind of format, in where he takes two tuning companies' cars and he puts them head-to-head on the toge, and he's trying to find out who has the best car out there. And R.E. Amemiya is really well known on their show and has high praise for their RX-7s. And of course, if you play Gran Turismo, they're on there too. Hours wasted. So while I was at R.E. Amemiya, I was just walking around looking at different RX-7s, and my boy comes on and I start talking to him, and obviously over Google Translate, and I'm telling him, yo, I'm gonna buy a lot of RX-7 parts from you when I get an RX-7. And he's like, okay there, buddy. And I told him, yo, man, I seen your stuff on Hot Version. It's really cool to see, you know, in person.
On TV, Hot Version. Hot Version, Keiichi Tsuchiya, Toge Battle. Very famous.
And he ends up popping the hood, and he started showing me like the intricate hood cooling, and it was just something really cool to experience, to see these guys on TV and then actually seeing it in person. So it was much appreciated that my boy actually took out time to show me his car and to answer any questions, or just to take the time to actually talk to me. Now, this was something that I also experienced at the Nissan the showroom, I guess you could call it, in Ginza, Tokyo. Now, when I was over there, my colleague actually told the people there that I drove a GTR R32 back in Canada, and their like eyes opened up, and they opened up the door to a GTR Nismo, and they're like, yeah, have a seat, boy. Continuing on the Nissan train here, I ended up visiting the Omori factory, which is the Nismo headquarters. That was crazy, man. So it's essentially a workshop where they do any maintenance on Nissan cars, and they have this showroom dedicated to all the past race cars they've had, and they're always constantly changing it up and changing the theme. So this time when I went, it was actually rally themed, and they had a Pulsar GTIR, and in the corner they had a Fairlady Z race car. That was really cool. It was just really cool to see like all this stuff. Now I have a more in-depth video on my tour there coming up, so subscribe for that. So I appreciate the fact that these brands recognize the heritage and the people and the cars that got them to where they are now, so that they actually set up these places where fans can come and see the past cars and what they're currently developing, and it's a cool place for their fans to just come and rejoice in their favorite brands, motorsport history, and what they're coming up with next. It's a really cool way to keep your fans happy. Now, Nissan isn't the only brand to do this. Subaru and Toyota and many other brands actually have their own places scattered across Japan. And the best part of everything that I just talked about is that it's free. But seriously, I've paid for shows and they're not half as good as what I saw over there. So all in all, Japan was a sick place to go. It lived up to everything that I thought. I mean, I couldn't recommend it more. If you guys are thinking of going, I highly recommend you to go. Actually, I think I'm gonna go again. I'm serious. We're going. we're going to Japan. So I'm currently in the GTR. I'm gonna be teleported to the right side of the vehicle. So here we go. I think you gotta say some words. I wanna go Japan. I think we made it. Look, there's some Japanese writing. There's Japanese cars all around. Oh, これは BMW です。